One of the first things a new visitor to Sheboygan asks is, how do they keep a whole city so clean? The answer is a city cleaning department that challenges even the industrious housewives of the sparkling community in effectiveness. Spick and Span Sheboygan is called the cleanest large city in the state, and a lot of planning and elbow grease go into earning this recognition. Barring emergencies and breakdowns, workers wash and sweep the streets from end to end once each week, from early spring right up to the time the cold white stuff begins floating down. Every day, with the exception of Sunday, Sheboygan crews begin work at 4 o'clock in the morning, scrubbing the faces of the streets with the same care and devotion that Mama shows when getting the children ready for school. Flushers swish the debris to the curb using Sheboygan's generous water supply. Then along come self-loading sweepers to scoop in the dirt and carry it off. Innate pride of the community in its clean and beautiful tree-lined streets has been enhanced through the years by the hundreds of bright new houses constructed in the Sheboygan area by Quasius brothers. Although the firm now specializes in commercial and industrial work, its contributions on the home front paved the way to a reputation which any business organization would be proud to possess. Back in 1890, George H. Quasius, Sr. founded a carpentry firm. By the time he retired in 1945, he had laid down a solid foundation on which to build an ever-growing, successful organization. Quasius Brothers is a family corporation, now operated by the founder's 7 sons and a daughter. In fact, even the grandchildren are taking an active hand in business matters. In the last 10 years, the firm has expanded into general industrial and commercial construction on a major scale. Some of the most important building projects in the Sheboygan area have the Quasius stamp of workmanship on them. One such project was the Kohler Public School and Swimming Pool, real construction artistry. The firm has also accomplished heavy construction for the Kohler Company and other industrial concerns in Sheboygan County. Versatility has been a byword in erecting everything from churches to shopping centers. The home base of operations is a modern office building and warehouse located on former county highway property at 1716 North 16th Street. Quasius Brothers purchased the tract in 1955. The sons, daughter, and grandchildren of the elder Quasius have contributed to the success of the entire building industry in the area in a way which has nothing to do with actual construction. Right after the Second World War, a comprehensive GI on-the-job training program was organized to aid returning veterans interested in the building trades. Carpenters, masons, and other specialists took basic and advanced training with Quasius Brothers to learn skills they use today to make Sheboygan a better place in which to live. Normally, the firm employs about 40 men from all branches of the trades. During peak periods, as many as 120 men may be signed on to speed up work on major projects. The construction business has slack employment periods, just as most industrial firms. But Quasius distinguishes itself by positive action to ease this situation. It is a policy of the company to make every attempt to initiate building projects of its own during times when there is a lull in outside contracts. Careful planning enables the company to both alleviate the wholesale layoffs that plague workers in some industries and to increase the business stature of Quasius Brothers in the community. An example of this combined effort is a commercial business building designed for lease to other firms in the area. Sheboygan is a community of highly skilled craftsmen, descendants of hardy pioneers who came to this country with only the few assets they could carry with them. Skill, however, is effective only when proper planning makes maximum use of it through the year. This has been the constant goal of the Quasius family. Spacious Northgate, an 8-acre shopping center, is a recent and certainly spectacular Quasius addition to the retailing scene. The popular Red Owl supermarket was built by Quasius Brothers with the customer's interest in mind. And sprinkled throughout the Sheboygan landscape are an impressive variety of monuments to the firm's skill. These include the Northern and Quasius apartments at 11th and 12th Streets, the U.S. Naval Armory on the South 8th Street, St. John's Evangelical Church at North 13th and Lincoln, and St. Clement's Rectory, 530 New York Avenue. Quasius Brothers Incorporated is not far removed from the pioneers who first felled Sheboygan's trees to begin a community. The firm now pioneers in making Sheboygan the best community in our fair land. Take a look at an industrial team in action. These are three of the executives who have made Sheboygan Paint Company a leader among manufacturers of industrial and architectural finishing materials. Hugo Jensen is the firm's advertising and sales promotion specialist. S.C. Nylands, a company member since 1922, is president, while I.F. Eder is appropriately dressed for his role as the firm's chief chemist. The combined experience and business wisdom of these and others among the company's personnel has made Sheboygan Paint Company a partner in the city's progress. This relationship began back in 1921. A paint or varnish isn't necessarily good just because it sticks to a surface. Industry is demanding in its standards, and control chemists meet their demands by checking to maintain a constant flow of top-quality materials. Drawer-down tests on plate glass are made to determine drying qualities, gloss, and color. Wood samples which duplicate grades used by customers are sprayed to get actual on-the-job results of an application. The adding of dry powder pigments in the change can operation is one of the meticulous steps in manufacturing the company's products. Varnish is added to colored pigment in the mixer, resulting in a paste that is thoroughly ground on a 3-roll high-speed mill to incorporate the pigment in the vehicle. This action develops gloss, prevents settling of pigment, and ensures breakup to ultimate size of pigment particles. An operator constantly checks to ensure efficient operation. The adding of tints and resins to batches of paint are other steps in the manufacturing process. The product from the roller mills, resin, volatiles, and other ingredients are mixed by a high-speed explosion-proof agitator in a large blending tank. Large batches promote uniformity. Here, red implement enamel is drained from a 400-gallon tank for the first of 85-gallon pails. 55-gallon drums are another common container for products of the Sheboygan Paint Company. Before packaging, paints are put through final straining action to remove the occasional outsize particles which escapes the high-speed mill and agitators. Another method of grinding paint is the pebble mill treatment. The ingredients are placed in a porcelain-lined cylinder which is filled with porcelain balls. The mill is then rotated for several hours until the finished liquid is ready to be drained. Finally, the Sheboygan Paint Company's familiar label with the two painters poised for action is applied to proudly announce the high-quality product inside the container. The company has perpetuated a proud tradition during 37 years as East Central Wisconsin's only paint, varnish, enamel, and lacquer manufacturer by supplying industry with the very finest in these products. One of the chief reasons for the rapid growth of the company is its foresight in keeping abreast of the technical improvements in the paint industry. Many of these improvements have been the direct result of Sheboygan Paint Company research. If anyone were to walk between these two men right now, that person would be in for a painful surprise. They're handling a sheet of glass, a commodity that almost becomes invisible under certain conditions. The Sheboygan Glass Company is quick to point out, however, that glass is a valuable item in hundreds of visible ways. The company is a leading retailer and wholesaler of glass sheet and a manufacturer of store fronts. Costly equipment, such as this diamond edge polisher, is called into service by the company to help accomplish its many functions in the glass business. One of those functions, and a difficult one at that, is the installation of automobile windshields. With the advent of curved windshields, it became necessary to maintain a huge stock to service different makes of cars. Glass isn't easy to handle, even if the immediate mission is simply to get it out of the way. Glass sheets arrive well padded in towering crates built like the outside of a prison. This facilitates shipment to the company and movement into storage. Chain hoists are used to aid the men in guiding the crate to a position next to a series of special racks. The glass is removed and channeled into an upright position in its own nook in the partitioning. During the past 27 years, Sheboygan Glass Company has helped modernize and beautify the city by performing a glassy facelifting on the fronts of many businesses. A long-time company motto has been, "It takes a good front to succeed." Agreement with this theory has contributed to the firm's growth in the east central Wisconsin region. A woodworking branch is vital in tailoring the non-glass accessories that complete the sales unit. Door frames for commercial buildings are the principal mission of this section. Other items on display in a gleaming retail showroom include glass partitions, mirrors, shelves, and bathroom fixtures. In recent years, Sheboygan retailers have spent billions of dollars building new stores, expanding, modernizing, and adding new fixtures for the convenience of customers. The Sheboygan Glass Company has been a prime source of glass products and stepping ahead with the continuing prosperity of the community. For commercial clients, the company goes far beyond the basic cutting and installing of glass. A staff of engineer designers is constantly called up to design glass fronts and doors for the businessman. Blueprints are drawn and submitted to the factory branch, which goes about the job of fashioning wood, steel, and aluminum paneling and brackets to contain the glass in high-styled exteriors. Every job is triple-checked for workmanship to ensure customer satisfaction. A fleet of company trucks is on the move throughout the day, delivering glass orders to job locations. The company's growth and progress has been a direct result of the service it has given. Through the years, the Sheboygan Glass Company has changed with the times, but one thing hasn't changed, and that's the basic policy of finest glass, superior service, fair prices. The name Ebenreiter has a national significance, born of the efforts of about 100 persons who combine their skills in a huge, sprawling Sheboygan plant that covers all of 140,000 square feet. Up until 1947, the famous Ebenreiter Woodworking Company was simply a manufacturing division of the parent lumber company, a retail yard in business in Sheboygan since 1892. Then, a few years after the end of the Second World War, the Woodworking Company was formed and skyrocketed as a manufacturer of architectural woodwork for major schools, hospitals, dormitories, offices, and churches. An engineering staff of 12 draftsmen and supervisors is one of the largest among architectural plants located in the Middle West. These men not only make estimates and plans for construction woodwork, but also take a hand in preparing for the manufacture of such items as wardrobe closets, desks, bookcases, library shelving, paneling, and other types of cabinet work for institutions. After a basic plan has been drawn by a draftsman, an oscillate machine is utilized to make the necessary reproductions. The company has proved its ability to handle even the largest of millwork orders. Drawings go directly from the drafting department to a machinery layout man who converts measurements and designs right onto the lumber itself. From the pattern, all machine cuts are set up. When they coincide with the pattern, the machines are locked in position and every unit of lumber sent through them is cut to the prescribed dimensions. Let's take a trip with a typical load of hardwood and see some of the treatment the wood receives before it emerges as finished products. Lumber arrives in boxcar loads at a siding near the Ebenreiter plant, and the first operation is strictly man muscle and machine muscle in moving the load to working areas. Usually, the lumber is shoved by hand out of the car into a position where a forklift truck can get at it. With the ease of a mechanical Superman, the truck cradles a load of hardwood in its steel arms and scoots off for the shop. The Ebenreiter Woodworking Company operates some of the newest and fastest machinery in the industry. It is successfully applying the principles of mass furniture production to the production of quality lines of architectural woodwork. And this technique has been effective in creating mass output capabilities to meet all orders. One of the first stops for the visiting dignitaries from forest land is the rough line, where the wood is cut down a notch or two and given some facial treatment. A series of automatic conveyors provide taxi service to carry the strips of lumber to their various destinations. And the end purpose is to cut the wood into the desired lengths. During this process, each unit is faced and planed, as well as reduced in size by rip saws. At any stage in the woodworking cycle, only skilled men, steeped in the tradition of fine craftsmanship which predominates in the woodwork and furniture manufacturing center of Sheboygan, are permitted to take a hand in the production of Ebenreiter products. Now, this policy has had the logical result of outstanding woodwork jobs and customer confidence. In another operation, narrow stock is measured by a steel tape visible through a magnifying glass as it travels in a device called a double-end tenoner. The machine can be opened up to cut wider stock. One of the newest and most intriguing of the Ebenreiter woodworking devices is a 3-drum sanding machine. The machine, manufactured in Sheboygan, is still another tribute to the versatility of the city's industry. The sander swallows up all kinds of wood and polishes surfaces until they feel as smooth as the family mirror. Machines such as these have made it possible for the firm to achieve mass production. On one occasion, an order came through for millwork for Kinross Air Force Base in Michigan and Southern Wisconsin Colony and Training School for delivery on approximately the same date. The order represented almost 3,000 window frames, over 100,000 lineal feet of trim, more than 2,000 doors, and several hundred cabinets for dormitories, mess and administration buildings, and classrooms. Both orders were manufactured and shipped on schedule, while work continued at a normal rate on all other contract orders. As the different furniture units are completed, they're set on a conveyor line and pushed along out of the shop. Their destination is the warehouse, where they will be prepared for shipment. Before actually leaving the shop area, each cabinet or other base unit and its integral parts are carefully inspected to make sure all work meets with quality standards. If everything is in good order, the inspector signs the completion ticket. All of the company's products are shipped directly from the factory to the job site by its own trailer trucks. Among the Ebenreiter University clients are Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Minnesota, Drake, Michigan, Northwestern, and Illinois. A few years ago, the firm furnished all the millwork for the richly adorned Rotary International Headquarters building in Evanston, Illinois. The structure, interior and exterior, ranks as one of the most impressive of its kind in the nation. Many hospitals, too, have climbed on the jam-packed bandwagon that sings the praises of the Ebenreiter Woodworking Company, a chip off the Sheboygan block. There's a new star on the Sheboygan horizon, new when compared with the generations-long histories of most major area industrial firms. And yet every time folks go to any one of the thousands of churches all over the United States, they come in contact with the restful spiritual atmosphere created in part by the artistic handiwork of this new organization. The R.A. Manning Company, born in 1948, is a leader in the design, engineering, and manufacture of stunning lighting fixtures for churches and institutions. The Research and Design Department constantly strives to improve illumination techniques, both in efficiency of lighting and in quality of fixture. From the largest to the smallest church, each order is handled individually to custom tailor the illumination scheme to particular needs. In the first stage, preliminary sketches are made and discussed. Once agreement is reached on the overall plan, detailed drawings are prepared and the work begins. Fixtures are designed to harmonize with the architectural decor of the church involved. The Manning Company was a pioneer in multiple circuit wiring and flexible levels of lighting for church interiors. Every space is analyzed to determine its lighting needs. The altar or chancel requires a high level of intensity to direct the attention of the worshiper to the service. This lighting must be reduced during the sermon, and the pulpit lighted to focus attention on the speaker. Light at the pews should be sufficient for easy reading during the service, but should be less intense during the sermon. Individual fixtures, as well as the circuit system, are combined to produce the desired effects. The fixtures are not only functional, but beautiful as well. Most are fashioned basically of combinations of spun aluminum, satin brass, steel, copper, and tinted glass. A metal spinning machine shapes the many circular parts that are used as reflectors and shields, as well as for decor. Rendering holes in the metal to create a design is a slow, painstaking operation. Another metalworking skill which is brought into daily use in the Manning plant is spot welding. Great care is taken to instill strength into joined sections without scarring the surface area. Holes are drilled for major structural additions. Finishes are applied in a variety of colors, including satin gold, natural bronze, antique gold and bronze, hammered gold, Swedish iron, and hammered iron. The finishes are baked in a convection oven with a clear transparent lacquer to prevent tarnishing and discoloration. If manning designers decide that a baked flat color would be more effective in a particular interior, the paint is specially prepared. Every time a rack leaves the oven, it sets up a sparkle like a diamond. There are hundreds of individual parts of all sizes and shapes that go into the making of the company's line. Glass panels come in such rich shades as ivory opalescent, light amber seeded, light amber cathedral, and white opal. The company works directly with metal, glass, and paint suppliers to develop materials for use on an array of breathtaking original fixtures. In the Sheboygan area, manning installations have been made at St. Clement's Church, Zion Reformed Church, and St. John's Church. Church construction is undergoing a change in architectural style keyed to today's modern techniques. The R.C. Manning Company, with its I-Easy products, will light the way. According to Greek legend, a mythical bird called the phoenix was born out of fire. In 1875, a Sheboygan furniture company, rising out of the ashes of a disastrous fire, took on the name Phoenix, as a symbol of its will to fly high and strong despite all obstacles. In all the years that have passed, the Phoenix Chair Company has lived up to its name, never once ceasing operations, to become one of the greatest firms in its field. Approximately 800,000 feet of lumber are available in company yards at all times, divided between northern hard maple and northern elm. The yard lumber is air-dried for 6 months to a year, depending on the thickness of wood, and then moved by Ross hydraulic lift to processing apparatus in the factory. Each piece is treated to relieve stresses, and a moisture content of 6% is built up. On the rough line, the lumber is cut into various lengths, and all major defects are eliminated. The stock passes along through a facer and planer, which remove a small portion of the surface. Rip saws reduce the sections again, and they are sized. Phoenix high-style products find a ready market not only in American homes, but in situations so diverse as a Navy base in Cuba and a dormitory in Marquette University. The company manufactures living room, dining room, and bedroom furniture, as well as special lines for hotels, clubs, schools, government facilities, and similar organizations. Visitors to the factory are always amazed at the wood bending operation. Wood parts for bending are carefully selected to eliminate unnecessary waste. The parts are steamed in low-pressure retorts for 30 minutes, then placed in hydraulic presses. Live steam passes through steel chambers in the presses as the wood is forming. A temperature of about 200 degrees is maintained to dry wood parts and hold the curved or bent shapes. Depending upon size and thickness, the shaped wood parts remain in the presses for up to 2.5 hours. Before wood can be shaped as radically as the pieces you have seen, precise studies must be made of stress qualities and a formula drawn up to establish pressure limits, steaming needs, and temperature requirements. Vertical sanding belts smooth down the edges of straight or curved parts. Coarse grit and fine grit belts are used with great skill. After polish sanding on the vertical belt units, the wood parts are sub-assembled with the best-known types of glue. Glue development, too, has come a long way in recent years to provide the furniture industry with powerful aids in joining parts. It is a tribute to Phoenix policy that only the best in allied materials contribute to the manufacture of the company's finished articles. Chairs are erected or completely assembled by use of air presses. In the next operation, corner blocks are glued and screwed into the corners of the frame to ensure maximum stability. This method is considered superior in introducing sufficient rigid strength to the joined parts. The screws are started by hand and then driven home by a power driver for accuracy and speed. Several types of finishes are used. First, a toner is used to equalize the colors of the wood. Additional spray coats are stain, sealer, shading, and several coats of lacquer. After proper drying in heated ovens, each piece is hand-rubbed to instill a smooth, semi-lustrous surface rich in wood grain beauty. Knowing how to get a job done extends to the shipping room, where furniture is carefully wrapped with unbelievable speed. Excelsior pads and twine are used to protect all surfaces. Soft felt paper pads are used to guard larger surfaces. Phoenix now operates 3 large trailers for delivery within a 500-mile radius of the factory. The trailers, with a load capacity of 3 tons, help eliminate transportation damage and give the company a more direct contact with its customers. Economies are realized since this furniture doesn't have to be individually wrapped, and the trucks pick up and bring back raw materials on return trips. The Phoenix Chair Company, a firm that has lived up to its name in climbing with Sheboygan. Sheboygan industry gives employment and a way of life to its people that few cities of similar size have ever enjoyed. From busy plants, products stream to buyers in every state of the Union, and to others in Europe, Africa, Central America, South America, Australia, and the Orient. Sheboygan represents one of the heaviest industrial concentrations in Wisconsin, and the success of its products is reflected by the bright new homes and happy family lives that flourish throughout the area. Sheboygan County, in fact, ranks 3rd among Wisconsin counties in total number of manufacturing plants. Generally, today's picture is one of diversification, with many small and medium-sized plants turning out a variety of merchandise. In spite of some comments which reflect concern over inflation, market slumps, government cancellations, and the like, the overall picture is extremely bright. Sheboygan people like their city. More than 80% of them own their own homes. All are responsible citizens who have made Sheboygan a clean city, a city which provides outstanding schools, a city with an excellent park system, a city in which religion plays an important role in community life. Lake Michigan has contributed an unlimited water supply and a temperate climate. Even the youngsters, such as this little lady, take pleasure in the good things in life in the city of Elms. And whopping big fish can be taken from area lakes, as well as from thriving fish markets. Maybe the old adage about someplace being a good place to live has been used too many times by too many towns. The proof lies with the people, in their attractive homes, good schools, and beautiful churches. Time after time, persons who have left Sheboygan in the belief that greener pastures might be found elsewhere have returned to make their permanent home.